Do you think I'm in that backup database?
Pardon me?
Do you think I'm in that database?
Yeah, and thankfully I'm on the I'm hanging up a piece of fruit on your relationship tree, and I'm probably in it as well now. Low-hanging fruit. So,
8 million Americans are in this database.
Yeah, called Main Core. And the idea behind this database is that in a time of national emergency, you can see on the radio, I'm holding my fingers up, making the quotation marks. In a time of a crisis, which you wouldn't want to ever let go to waste, these people could then be grabbed. We would know where they are. We would know what the case is we want to make against them, because in a time of national emergency or crisis, they could be a threat to the government. So therefore, let's go grab them. Let's hold on to them. Let's detain them.
May I just say, Brad,
Yes.
This ties into something that was never addressed fully. There were questions asked about it. They verified it, and then they moved on. The press was fine with it. And it was if I'm not mistaken, this is about a year and a half ago, an executive order, I believe, and it went to I can't remember all the details. Stu looked this up, but remember there was an executive order, I think, that was pushed through where the president said that there's a list of people that can be terminated, if you will, that are a threat both in and out of the United States. And the only one they used by name was that guy in Yemen, the American citizen. But these were American citizens.
Oh, yeah, it was the assassination order.
Right. And
Right.
The al-Awlaki. And, this is what's very interesting, is that under President Bush, he signed a presidential directive stating that we were in a national emergency. And Obama re-signed it, re-upped it. This thing has been around we're going on 10 years now. There's a lot of these presidential directives and stuff that the mainstream media just isn't interested in, or for some reason just won't pursue. So there's a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
Listen,
So,
I'm not.
Brad, take answer, because there are people that are listening right now who say, and quite honestly, if I refuse to look at the future, Ben Sherwood Ben Sherwood, I think, is the president of ABC News. Now, at least he is. He wrote this great book called The Survivors Club. And the survivors, he went and he looked at all the different survivors, from wars to disasters to big and small. And what did they all have in common? And one of the things that they all had in common was they were willing to look outside of the box. They were willing to say, you know what, this plane could catch on fire. You know what, I could slip and fall. This could happen. And so they looked outside the box and saw the realm of possibilities. And they didn't live their life in a paranoid way. They just looked at the realm of possibilities and saw these things could happen. I'm not saying they are happening. They could. And they're becoming more and more realistic every day. How do you say this, or how do you answer to the people who say, this is ridiculous, this is America, it will never happen here?
Well, it is happening. I mean, you only have to look outside. There's so many different examples, Glenn, of the government. But at the very basic level of this is that when you give up any of your liberty, you will never see it again. So this can go into many different areas. It can be gun ownership. We want you to have all of your guns registered. And then we just have an example in Illinois where the state attorney in Illinois was suing the state police. This is how bad our government has gotten when the government branches of the government sue each other. The state attorney in Illinois, Lisa Madigan, was suing the Illinois State Police because the Illinois State Police would not turn over the database of who owns a firearms owner identification card. And the scuttlebutt was they believed the state attorney general was going to use that database and balance against her database of who has registered firearms to say, okay, who has a firearm owner's card but no firearms? This is the kind of stuff that is going on in the world where you don't have to commit a crime or you don't have to be sticking up a bank, but they're trying. Listen, there's so many regulations, so many stupid laws. Everybody is guilty of something, and they are now starting to hone in, narrow in, and just nail every single person they can find out there.
It's never really fun talking to you, Brad. I never leave more optimistic after a conversation with Brad Thor. One last question.
Yes.
I have been feeling for a while that unplug. Now, I'm in the internet, radio, television, communications business. How does someone unplug in today's world? How do you not become part of Skynet?
Well, you first have to come to realization that this quaint image of you leave a digital footprint is not true. It's like I said, you leave a digital shadow, which means if they know the position of the sun, they know where you're standing. There's a lot of good information out there. You know, Glenn, and I appreciate how much you've said about full black. I think if people read Search and Destroy about Google, they get a great idea about if you have a Gmail account or anything like that, what Google is able to do with your Gmail. It is a learning process like anything else where people have to do their own homework. Yeah, if you've got the GPS enabled on your phone, well, guess what? That tells people where you are every single moment of the day. And you don't have to be someone who intends to commit a crime. You know, it's something that is innocuous and normal and acceptable at some point could get turned into a crime. I mean, we're racing in that direction.
Is there any doubt in your mind that if this technology existed in the 1930s, there wouldn't be a Jew or in 1946, a Jew or a homosexual or someone who stood a gypsy? There wouldn't be one alive, would there?
Glenn, this is what scares me, is with all the research I did for Full Black, to read these stories after stories about dissidents that were hunted and killed using a software program to help locate them. I thought, you know what? The history of mankind is tyranny. We are an exception, and they're unraveling a little bit here. I'm not saying this is going to happen tomorrow, but the possibility is there if we don't stand fast and fight back against this.
Brad Thor, the name of the book is Full Black. Can't recommend it highly enough. Thank you very much, Brad. We'll talk again.
Thanks, buddy.